I was watching that latest Del Toro Ryan video where he went to Dorney Park with some people and did whatever. And I was like, oh, wait, shit. I've got some Dorney Park footage that I have completely been abandoning on my hard drive right now. And I thought, well, I've been neglecting this Coaster channel for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And my last video I published was a complete bomb. We're making fun of ChatGPT. I guess that is like a format that I need to retire, which sucks because I have another video I recorded but didn't release it because the other one bombed. Anyway, I don't know. Disregard all that. There's Iron Menace, the latest whatever from B&M. And it's certainly not the highlight of Dorney Park. And as someone who had never visited Dorney Park ever up until this point, and like what the fuck, this was like my sixth park on an 18 park coaster trip back in June. I'm really eyeballing basically the rest of the park before this because B&M dives are like the least interesting model and the best one, which I rode at Canada's Wonderland later in this trip. Didn't even crack my top 100, so I can't be very excited about Iron Menace, especially since it's not very good. But we'll talk about that later. Right now we're walking behind some random family throwing trash in a trash can, walking around them, and I forge your own fate. More like your fate is to be whelmed. Like mediocrity is your fate, because that's about all that Iron Menace delivers, provides. I don't know, my brain is merging words together, because if you've watched my videos, I'm usually delirious when I record these things in one take. And that's a pretty cute little bag from Ross or whatever, lots of flowers and stuff. Good on you, man, for not being too much of a man to carry. Oh, was that even a man? I was thinking it might have been a woman. I don't know. I'm high. I don't know what I'm talking about. We're going to Dorney Park right now, and as whacked out as I sound now here, boy, I went into this place not giving a fuck, and I was absolutely blazed out of my mind when I was here the whole time. I don't need a chaperone policy because I'm unchaperoned. I was going to get a Cedar Fair all pass BS thing because I was going to Canada's Wonderland as well later this trip. Cedar Point was originally going to be part of it before I realized that Top Thrill 2 was fucked, and now I'm really glad I didn't go because it was fuckity fucked. So I thought if I'm only visiting 2 parks this year from the chain, I might as well just save money. Last year I had a Valley Fair card that took me to Michigan's Adventure and Carowinds and all this cool shit. Didn't need to buy it this year. Right there's Talon. And it's pretty good. It was better than expected, which I must say applied to everything in this park except for Thunderhawk and Iron Menace. They were not better than expected. They were worse than expected. Actually, I didn't expect Iron Menace. Iron Menace was exactly where I expected it to be. Number 198 in my rankings. Hey, still higher than Batman the Ride, so there's that. By actually a large margin, too. Fuck Batman the Ride. Anyway, now that, I guess there's a chance that now that it's Cedar Fair and Six Flags are merging together, Talon might become renamed Batman the Ride because it's like the same owners or something. I don't know. That's a terrible thing to manifest on you poor people, turning a good B&M invert into a pretty crap one. We're thumbing up what? Oh yeah. Yeah. Fastlane Plus. And I'm almost certain this was the second park on this trip where my friend was like, look, I don't feel like waiting in any fucking lines, and I'm not going to buy one and have my friend not have it, so he's just bought it for me. It sucks. You know what? It sounds like I'm being a chode lord talking like that. Like, he was actually being really kind and being a friend, and I just, framed it like he was being manipulative. Whatever, man. He took care of me, and so we got the fast lane shits at this and a bunch of other parks this trip because, look, I don't live anywhere near this part of the country, and the last thing I'm about to do in my 2 weeks on these trips is wait in fucking lines I don't need to wait in. And Dorney Park, honestly, it was kind of a waste of money because we didn't need it. We really didn't need it at all. I think we might have saved 15 minutes of waiting for the whole day with those fast lane whatevers. They were useful in other Canada's Wonderland. They were just God shining down on you from up above with how good they were. But at Dorney Park, they were worthless. And I'm not complaining. I don't want anyone to have to wait in lines. Lines are complete dog shit. Right there is their mouse whose name I don't even remember. See, I only put in my spreadsheet of rankings coasters that matter. And coasters that matter, the actual threshold is better than the worst Aero Mine Train. And whatever that is not a thing. Hold on. It's called Wild Mouse. No wonder I couldn't fucking remember Wild. I mean, the most generic ass name. I mean, I guess Cedar Point named their Wild Mouse too. So it's still trendy to name a ride what it is. It's so exciting. I can't see part of why I don't rank coasters that are not like horrendous per se, but are not great is because I don't remember anything about them. There's very few wild mice who were what happened in them I remember, and none of them were by who made that one, fucking Mora, or you know, Vekoma and shit, and SBF Visa and all of these nothing ass manufacturers. Although I saw Mora had decided to actually make the figure 8 loop coaster real. I thought that there was like an analysis on that element that was in Roller Coaster Tycoon and shit originally, like conceptualized by Anton Schwarzkopf and shit, but that they couldn't do it because G-forces would just be all fucked up and fuck your shit up. And apparently they're just gonna do it anyway more. So like, Godspeed. I can't wait for you to install that on a cruise ship and have liability lawsuits, but we get to learn about it or something. I mean, I'm never gonna be in a place that buys one of those fucking things if they ever even exist. Dodgems, I don't think I've been on one of those since I was like a child. But Talon, I've been on Talon. Talon's pretty cool. I have it ranked as my second best coaster in the park, and the only reason why it's not third is because I'm one of those sad people who considers Demon Drop not to be a coaster. But look, Demon Drop's better than Talon. Demon Drop shits on Talon. But as far as an invert's concerned, like, this thing's actually pretty good. Like, my original ride on it, I'm like, wow, this is above average. This is pretty good. You know, it's not going to be ranked incredibly highly. But then later in the day, when it picked up speed and kind of started maxing out, I was like, wow, this is very forceful. Like, the problem with B&M on the most part is that their coasters are just forceless pieces of shit. And there's some standouts where that's not the case. And not many. And this was one of them. And like, really good moments of airtime. And honestly, the Batman the Ride syndrome is like when you have the same invert doing the same shit over and over and over again. It's like, it's hard to care. I mean, all my friends bust my balls when they're like, how can you rank Batman the Ride as number 249 for the best one, and like 260 something, 270 something for the worst ones? And the reason why is I have tremendous difficulty differentiating what happened in one versus the other. I don't remember what city I was in when I went wee, like Rob Alvey. You know, I don't fucking know. Whereas with Talon, I remember this being extremely, refreshingly not Batman the fucking Ride. And also airtime, which is just completely devoid of occurring on these B&M inverts for fuck knows what reason. You actually get some of that here, which is pretty tremendous. And yeah, solid, my number 129 out of 455, which has it over Apollo's Chariot. I mean, you know, it's beaten like a single hypercoaster. It used to be two. Candemonium decided to step up and go up to my number like 108 or something after riding it at Hershey Park like 2 days after this video at Dorney. In fact, this isn't the only fucking video I recorded this day, because park number 7 and 8, where the Coney Island shits like Luna Park and Wonder Wheel, that'll be next in line on this channel. And I will be honest with you, the Coney Island Cyclone alone shat on this entire park. But I'm not going to complain too much about Dorney, which never broke my heart. Dorney never upset me. Dorney was actually better than I expected it to be. But holy fuck, Cyclone. Oh, God. I need to just wait a second to talk about that. But look, I appreciate any park where I don't have to wait in line. And this was that, you know? Like, this was dope. Wearing our pointless fast pass. And, you know, I was joking to Colson. I was like, dude, if I, like, waited a little longer to go take a piss or something, I would have realized that we don't have any lines to worry about. So I put my camera in the trash can. And we wouldn't have had to spend that money. And he was like, oh, well. You know, I love that carefree attitude. Like, you don't have, why regret something that's just, you know, what's $55 or whatever the shit, or 155. I don't know what the fuck they were going for that day. Probably not 155. That's like fucking Knott's Berry Farm prices. So we're walking down this busy pathway, you know, like, dude, I gotta say, Dorney was a vibe. I was really dehydrated that day. And I don't think I had like any abilities to not drink water, because he had like that, like every 15 minutes cup thing. So that was pretty refreshing. Certainly no Holiday World situation here. But I remember I was like, I had, my eyes were dry and I was really dehydrated. And of course I was high the whole time. I mean, like, that's what I always do. But yeah, and I remember my day here was kind of a blur relative to like almost every other park on this trip. I remember enough to record a YouTube video, but I remember I was like, I need to take another quick POV video look at Hydra and Talon just to make sure I remember what I thought about them, because like, you know, I definitely didn't ride that log flume that's stuck on the fucking lift hill or whatever the hell it is. I didn't visit. There's a lot of trash cans in this park. Like, this would have been like landscaping, people not puking or throwing trash on the floor awards on Roller Coaster Tycoon and shit. I think that's pretty cool. I gotta say, Dorney, the reason it took me until like I collected my 400th credit that day, so I was in the 390s at this point. To go to Dorney Park is, I mean, first of all, it's, you know, it's kind of inaccessible living in New Orleans. And I made it my goal from the beginning, where are the elite coasters at? I'm going to them first. And Steel Force being the highlight when I've already been on Mamba and shit, so I mean, like, I get it. And the rest of the park has essentially shit that's in every other park. I'm like, I don't know. Well, after I visited this place, I'm fucking glad I went, because Demon Drop made the whole park worth it by itself. I'm gonna wait to talk about that. I do not consider it a coaster, but if it were just for shiggles, I'd place it like around my mid 60s, or not 70, better than that, which has it just losing the Steel Force, but tremendously shitting on Talon, Hydra, Iron Menace, Possessed, Thunderhawk, and whatever else is in this park. A kiddie coaster? I don't know. I don't remember what else I wrote. What else is here? Woodstock Express. Did I even get on that? I don't know. I definitely made a conscious effort to get on as many kiddie coasters as I could outside of the boardwalk shit. So I'm looking at a picture of Dorney's Woodstock, and I don't remember whether I wrote it. This video is going to tell me whether that's the case. So as I was saying, like, kiddie coasters, mediocre Zyklons and Galaxies and shit. Like, I just cannot rank these things because I don't remember. It's just so unmemorable. It's literally just a +1. So let's go ahead on this useless fast lane. Actually, no, this was like one of the only times in the day where this was useful, this fast lane. I think we saved like 6 minutes. And then that was like maybe one more time later that day, and then it was just walk onto the whole day. This little JoJo roll thing is kind of cool. I don't know why they don't do this more. It seems like a free element, you know, pre-lift, because it's normally just turning into a lift hill anyway. I liked it. I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought that the layout was refreshing and intense and a good long duration. And that JoJo roll to start it off kind of gets you in a fun headspace to start it off. No complaints. I definitely prefer Wildfire, Superman, Dominator, Kraken over this thing. But I mean, like, compared to something like, I don't know, fucking better than Medusa at Great Adventure, and it's clone from Hell at Magic Mountain. Of course, better than that shit. It's all in all very, very nice. I mean, that was a floorless coaster, right? Like, or a sitting or something. Yeah, it's a floorless. Okay, so I'm not misremembering what I wrote. That's a very cozy location for that little log flume, and it makes me wish I wrote it now. Oh well, restricted area for bitches. Man, those OTSRs looked uncomfortable and really pink. So yeah, we got to get the cliched picture that everyone takes of Hydra, of the JoJo roll. I took it too, so it's not like I can make fun of y'all because I'm one of the idiots. And then we wrote it, and so my number 130, one with Talon, 129 right above that out of 455. So, you know, 30%ish shit. No idea what the fuck I just said. That was a nasty looking fucking two nasty looking flavors at Dippin' Dots. That red and blue one and the Iron Menace flavored look fucked. However, man, we were at fucking Six Flags Darien Lake, and they had I mentioned this in like 2 videos ago. They had like coffee, cappuccino, mocha, whatever Dippin' Dots, and I missed the chance to get that, and I'm still regretting it because that looked fucking fire. Look, I'm drinking water, and you guys should drink water. What's this Brazil flag? I was born in that country, but I let my passport expire because I just don't care. It's just a country in decline, and most of my relatives whose political beliefs I agree with left the country, and they're kind of hanging out, not there. And yeah, why am I talking about Brazil? Oh yeah, there was a thing. I need to drink water. I was talking about drinking. I'm holding an open bottle of water, and I'm not editing it. We're in a kids area. What am I going to talk about? This lovely mother and daughter enjoying their day? I don't know anything about their story. Fuck that. Okay, empty stage. I mean, walking through an empty kids area. I'm not even sure why I recorded this. I think I might have been looking for the kids. I'm about to find out with you in this video whether I rode the kid. I'm assuming it's in here. I mean, I can always ask my buddy Colson, who's actually lucid and not completely mentally retarded like I am. But man, it's pretty rough shit. I need to buy one of those hats like he has, man. He's I mean, I don't get like hot and shit because I'm like, as I said, Brazilian, so my skin, whatever. I just don't even wear sunscreen. Like, skin cancer might be on my way. I hope it isn't, but those things look like they help. There's Woodstock, so I did ride it. Okay, I guess I did. I didn't fucking. Oh yeah, I remember the little shade. That's all I remember, just shade. I rode that exact coaster in 947,000 other parks. You need to give me a fucking break. I don't fucking remember. And it was yellow. I'm looking at RCDB and it showed that it was red, so it's not even the same fucking. Yeah, it's just red here in RCDB and it's yellow there. It's like, I can't keep track of all this shit. It's a kids coaster that was cloned more than I've like. Yeah, see, I stopped the joke in the middle of me delivering it because I realized it wasn't going to be funny. I mean, not that any of my jokes are funny, but that was going to be specifically a stinker. Danger, do not enter Planet Snoopy or else you might forget rides. Ooh, that sounded actually like awful, which is not like anything what I meant to say. Ugh. I don't belong in kids areas because they don't have roller coasters that matter in them, and that is the only thing I'm traveling for. I mean, I hope these families enjoy their kids sections, but fuck. I don't care. And right now I don't even know where I'm walking, what I'm doing. Like, what's all of this? We saw an Enterprise, and I rode that shit, and I completely felt like GP there because like I didn't listen to his directions on where to put my GoPro and shit on the on the cubby or whatever. And he told me, and I listened and went, duh, and then just didn't pay attention properly. And then he was like really fucking polite and was a roller coaster enthusiast, nice shirt. Man, I can't wait to ride the Voyage in Indiana and all of this shit. And I was just like making mistakes and like I tripped on myself and forgot where I put my shit and like held the ride for the next people. All I did was act like a cunt by accident. And the guy was super polite. So the guy who was running the Enterprise at Dorney on whatever day this was, Sunday, the June, that's around 18-ish or something, 19, that day. So whoever that guy was on the Enterprise, if Christ, for some reason, somebody knows who that is and says, I remember you and you're great. I don't remember Chicken Pete's or whatever because crab fries was the thing that pissed me off. You'll learn more about my crab fries hate in Hershey Park, the Hershey Park video. This gummy is kicking in pretty hard right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just like looking around trying to understand what I'm watching. There's Steel Force, not Mamba. And there's some SNS shit that I didn't ride, and SNS has been making mistakes. Ooh, there's Demon Drop in the back. And by the way, Demon Drop wasn't open until like hours later, and I thought we wouldn't be able to ride it. The whip right there, though, we did ride that, and that was my first whip. I also rode the one in Knoebels, I think the very next day, yeah, on this trip. Holy fuck, it's cool. I like it a lot. It feels like such an antique, but still like considerably fun and enjoyable, and I rode it twice, and I went and rode it again at Knoebels. I'm like, fucking fire. I would say, if anything, it's like a vibe. It's like you're on a couch that's fucking around. You're high. I mean, I'm projecting on you that you're high. But look, like, with my arms, like, stretched out all by themselves, and never ride it with another person. Everyone had their own car. So you just have your arms out as far as you can go, reclining like a complete bitch. And then just closing your eyes even helps. And you're just vibing on a swing couch. It's great. I loved it. We're walking further into Dorney Park, and there's something about Iron Menace. And I understand that dive coasters are like GP magnets, and I understand the investment, and I understand why I'm going to see a new one pop up in every park every year. But they're not fucking interesting. Especially this one, which is clearly like budget cuts of the B&M. I mean, it looks like it starts and ends in the same place. I mean, it falls, turns around, goes past the station and returns to the station, and that's the entire ride. But no, it has a dive. It doesn't have a mid-course brake run, sure. And I remember that rattle at the end that everyone's saying is like when the ride goes from smoothish to shitting your life away. I think that's exaggerated. Ryan was saying in his video, like, it's enough to notice it, but it's completely overplayed. I agree with that shit. It is. What's also overplayed is orange being the color for these fucking dive machines, man. And I really think, I don't know whether it was founded or not on the roller coaster subreddit, but I think people are saying it's just they had extra orange paint or something. It sucks. It's just an ugly. It's like a fart color. They shouldn't have ever even made Valraven that fucking color, because it's next to a coaster of the same fucking color. What are we even walking to right now? Are we headed to? Oh yeah, we're going to the Impulse. I like how previously prior to this trip, I had I'm about to tell a lie. I was about to say that Wicked Twister was the only Impulse I've been on, but doesn't Great America have one or something? Valley Fair has one. See, I don't even know where I was going. This was like my 4th or 5th fucking Impulse. I don't know. I have no idea. Oh shit, I just hit my mic. Is it still recording? Okay, cool. There you go. That's my review. That's my fucking review of Possessed. I had to fucking check my spreadsheet to make sure that I was calling it Possessed. Yeah, look. And even though I'm an Intamin fanboy and not even close to being him as a fanboy with all the hate that I have for Batman and the Ride and shit, Possessed is still only like number 239, okay? The one at Valley Fair is my favorite because of the hold break or something. Other than that, I prefer spikes over twists, man. I would take a spike over a twist spike or a twist every fucking time. Hold break on one and not the other. It's just airtime. I don't know. There you go. I just went from giving you a non-review of this thing to kind of one, and it's cloned. And I mean, I guess they're all a little different. I hear the one at Discovery Kingdom is like adjusted to like comply with a rule that they initially broke, so it's like angular or something. And then there's one with a hold break. There's the one at Cedar Point which you can't ride anymore, and then this, and that's it. It's whatever. We're walking the whole way, I guess, to Iron Menace. And as you see, I mean, I'm not joking. Like, there's a lift hill, you dive, and then you return to the station. It's fine. I mean, the park needs it, clearly. That's, in fact, I have to shout out the El Toro Ryan video that I was watching just now, because it's pretty funny, because it has to be fucking true. You have, like, Nate and all of them asking what the review is, but they're all holding complimentary, like, fast pass fucking wristbands that were given by the park because they knew it was like a review or whatever. And all of them were like, you know, it's all right. It's good for the park. It's good for the general public. So that was, all of them were just pussyfooting around saying that it's mid or it sucks, which is what it is. It mid sucks. And they had to be polite, because you can't be like, oh, thanks for the fast passes. Your first coaster in 20 years is a piece of shit. 24 years. How long was it? Let me take a look at this. Wasn't Dorney like, it was Great Escape that had like the biggest route, right? 16 years since Possessed. 19 years since Hydra. That's sad. What's sadder is living in New Orleans, where the years of releases don't matter, because all we have is Abandoned Dixieland and with no coasters operating since before the pandemic, and Six Flags New Orleans, which is, I mean, I'll go visit. Maybe they might open next week. Fuck this place. So I mean, living somewhere where you go 19 years between coasters. I mean, fuck, better than here. Yay, dueling shot? Not really. It's just, I think I'm not even looking at where my GoPro's filming. I think I'm just like, which is really what my headspace was for most of my day at Dorney Park. I won't even lie to you. I was very when I was in this park. Duel, I don't know. It's fine. Dr. Diabolical's cliffhanger is way the fuck better. I actually enjoyed. Cliffhanger ended up going into my top 100 at one point, I think. This didn't even come close. And Yukon Striker, like, capped at 102, so that's as good as this fucking model gets for me. And this was, if I was just comparing dive coasters, I rode Oblivion when I was 14. So if I could still count that opinion, I'd consider that F tier. And then Yukon Striker is S tier. Okay, and something like, like Griffin or something's A tier. This is D. This is D. This is D tier B&M dive. And it has a rattle right out the gate. And then it has a part that allegedly shakes the shit out of you at the end of the ride. And there's my review. It's mid sucks. And I didn't get a Fast Pass wristband complimentary of the park because my channel is, you see what kind of reviews I have for things, like what park's going to want to celebrate that. I mean, hey, I have my own Fast Pass too, which for both my visit and their visit was completely pointless. Because, check out these crowds. It's crazy. Forge your own fate. It's the most mediocre fate, though. Why did I record all of this too? I'm drinking more water because I don't know what would you do in my case as someone who doesn't know how to edit GoPro videos do to solve this problem where I'm just walking past this monument of mediocrity for another time. It's not a good viewing experience for you, and as this indica is hitting harder, it's hard for me to tolerate it. Just looking at this coaster is kind of pissing me off because it's just so, I don't want to talk about it. What's sad is that you're looking at like the best coaster to release in North America this year, because Top Thrill Dragster open for 8 days. Top Thrill 2, whatever, open for 8 days doesn't fucking count. Penguin Trek doesn't matter, and All American Triple Loop is a fuck. I mean, I'm hearing that after it like fucking like yeets back into the station, billowing smoke and shit from the fucking failed drive tires and squishing people's faces, that they now just said, oh, we just learned that we don't need to have the shoulder restraints, so we're just going to take them off now. Now, like, they're celebrating it going from a piece of fuck to maybe tolerable. No, man. But the reason I'm on that tangent is like, what else did they fucking open? Everything that matters that opened in 2024 is in Europe, Hyperion and shit, Voltron and shit. And in the US, that fucking thing that was pissing me off because I didn't want to talk about it anymore. It's the fucking best coaster to open in the country this year. What a sad fuck. Fucking Chris from Maritime Thrills was like, I can't think of a year since the fucking 80s that the lineup of new coasters for the year sucked that much of a fucking ass. And I'm like, I know he didn't say it that way because he has like familyfriendly.com and stuff, but like that's what he thought. Hey, that guy in that 8 car is living his best life. See, always spike over twist. The twist looks cooler, but fuck that shit. I think that Top Thrill Dragster and 2 and Con, all that crap, would have way better fucking finales if they didn't twist and shit at the end. Granted, Top Thrill 2 with its higher point of gravity or something might be different, so I can't speak for it. But for Top Thrill Dragster, fuck the twist. Intamin spike over twist. Did I just completely ignore Thunderhawk? Let me drink this water real quick, and I guess I'll pretend to talk about it. So, Thunderhawk is fucking... I mean, God. I have it ranked... I have my wood coasters as a separate ranking, and it's my 74th favorite wood coaster. I mean, what the shit? The only ones ranked lower than it are higher. That's at 280 of 455. Only ones that have lower 281, 345, and 288. The fucking Woodstock Expresses and Ghoster Coaster and shit. And Little Dipper at Six Flags Great America. The fucking clone of Little Dipper at Little America I have ranked higher than fucking Thunderhawk. Going back to Ryan's video, which I'm referring to way too many times, they said that like only the first few rows matter, and if you don't do that, you're not experiencing the ride. I believe my 2 rides on Thunderhawk were like back and second to back or some shit. So my sucks ass rides weren't representative of, you know, it showing its best colors. So oops, that sucks. But well, I guess when I return to Dorney Park in like 2034 or something, I'll give it another shot in the front if it's still there. That's all I got for you, you know. So comfortable number 280. I mean, I'll tell you, to find another non-kids wood coaster that sucks as much as High Roller, that's an achievement. I mean, I think High Roller's worse at Valley Fair because it's basically like Blue Balls, the coaster. It feels like it's about to deliver so many times, and then every time, it's just nothing. It's just underwhelmed with a passion. This at least doesn't tease you, I think was what I remember. Like Thunderhawk just is honest that it sucks. Like it, it's like, yeah, and I'm like looking at my useful fast pass as I show up to a like, what is this ugly shit? The train looks cool, the station's retro, but that clown is cursed. Fuck that. I mean, I like the fresh. See, I thought it was fresh paint, and I thought it now for a second, which is embarrassing because Colson explained to me what it actually is. But I thought it then too. But for me to think about it a second time now is embarrassing. It's that paint is not fresh paint. It was painted that plaque color or whatever the fuck, and that's why it has that like vintage look. And I forgot again. Nope, that's not freshly added new wood track. It's painted on a boring wood coaster. That's not a boring coaster there. Steel Force, that thing is better than like most B&M hypers. And in fact, to stall for time, I'm going to go ahead and compare it to other hypers. My favorite B&M hyper is Diamondback at 38, followed by Mako 42, Behemoth 43, and I'm just gonna count it. Orion 47, and then like Superman the Ride actually is 49. I'll explain that when I get to my New England video. Disappointment Fest, man. And then Nitro at 50, Goliath at 54 at Over Georgia, Nitro 55 at Great Adventure, Steel Force 56, Dorney Park, 57 Mamba Worlds of Fun. I know that I just changed the order every single time in what I just said, and for that I apologize. I'm not professional, and you're still watching. You have the ability to leave this video when you don't enjoy my delivery, so exercise your rights, I guess. Make sure to leave a thumb down when you leave. And anyway, so that says a lot. It speaks volumes because that means I have it over Leviathan. Yeah, and I still believe that. Both fucking Mamba and Steel Force. Granted, I rode this thing with its I think it was trimless. When I rode this thing, the mid-course didn't do shit, and I was getting amazing fucking airtime. I mean, I enjoyed that almost as much as Superman the Ride at New England, man. And yeah, over Leviathan, over Thunderstriker, fucking hate that name, Intimidator. Raging Bull, over that, you know, 66, 67. I mean, that's pretty remarkable that Morgan Hypers can hold up like that. And then, man, and then you got the rejects like Candemonium at 108 and Apollo's Chariot at 135. So that's how this thing rivals, in my opinion. Very amazing. And a great headliner if they kept it, you know, trimless. Because I can see, I mean, I've been on Mamba with it like trimmed and fucked on the mid-course return, whatever. And yeah, that completely kills it. But run correctly, great headliner. I'm happy for them. But I mean, let's be real. Dorney needs a real headliner and not fucking Iron Minutes. But, you know, they can do it, right? Just gotta wait until 2034 or whatever. When I said that's actually being optimistic, it'll only take 10 more years. So if it takes another 19, which is being not even conservative but reasonable, I'll be back in 2043 for them to add an S&S free spin or some shit. Like a forgotten ass park. Hey, it's a solid forgotten ass park. Like, I had a good time here. Did I have more fun in Coney Island? Yeah, I did, because of one ride. And I had more fun at Dorney Park than a bunch of shit. Like, my previous parks were what? Playland's Castaway Cove, Dutch Wonderland, Idlewild. Better than those, for sure. Better than Kennywood? I don't think so. Absolutely no. Better than Knoebels? Fuck no. And Hershey Park, my second favorite amusement park, period. No. So I can see why Dorney Park is forgotten and like skipped, because if you live in like the best region in the country to live in for roller coasters, why the fuck would you go to Dorney Park? I get it. It's like the Six Flags America situation as well. You're just closer to better shit, so why go to the bullshit? Me, when I'm in New Orleans, I mean, I consider it a blessing to go to fucking places like Dorney Park, because New Orleans, man. I gotta say, after visiting 18 parks in this trip, though, that like, I'm still, 2 months later, I'm recording this August 29th, I'm still pretty fucking satisfied. Like, I usually don't go more than a month and a half or something, having like an itch to, I don't know what he was, oh yeah, the Banshee, the logo, I don't care. The logo's like rejected, Banshee, something like that. I still am satisfied by coaster itch like 2 months later, and that's kind of rare for me. I think it's just I just went so hard, 12 fucking days. I was at Canada's Wonderland on my 12th day, and I was like so depleted. I'm like, I'm having trouble still having fun. Like, I found my limit. But Dorney Park was near the beginning. I still had a lot of pep and spirit and all this shit. And the highlight of the trip was the Monday-Tuesday combo of Hershey Park and Knoebels. I was hoping it would include Wednesday at Great Adventure, but that park was just a fucking ass. Six Flags Great Adventure has the most unpleasant fucking everything at a park. It's having a Six Flags day, like the champion of the chain, which is really fucking sad. It was supposed to be those three. That thing's cute. I think I recorded this just because choo-choo. It looks cool, and I wanted to have like a transition shot to make it look like I'm being professional, like showing more of the park than just the coasters, rather than being completely transparent with you. Absolutely nothing. I'm just showing you what I walked past with my GoPro as I walked around Blazed on some day in June. So that's, my version of the blog, and I hope it proves valuable to the internet. I'm giving a thumb up to Steel Force because that bitch is great. What's also great is the bitch that, as of the point in this video, is still not open, but opened later, and so my happy gets tickled. It's Demon Drop. And I only have so many things I can say about a ride that like just, lifts you up and drops you, so I'm just gonna take a second to talk about it as I walk away from one of the most uninteresting wood coasters ever made. Especially, like, there's another Thunderhawk in New England, so now I have to like confuse Thunder. And then isn't Thunderhawk like a bad fucking red coaster at Michigan's Adventure SLC or something? I don't even remember where I'm unhappy about the Thunderhawk situation. I'd rather go to Burger Barn than Thunderhawk. That was lazy. Yeah. We were eating at Burger Barn, I think, and we saw Demon Drop testing, and it made me really happy because I had never been on that first generation Intamin Free Fall. They have the Impulse too, so cool. And so it's basically like this prison cell that you go like up an elevator, and then it's like with no fanfare at just some random point it just says "fuck you," and then you drop, and then you have some wrong people who say that because it's a complete circuit, that's a credit. And as I said, if I considered it a credit, it would be the second best coaster in the park, and not by a lot, almost the best coaster. Colson was giving me shit for fucking saying that it could actually be the best. Originally, when I first rode Demon Drop, I actually thought that it was better than Steel Force, and then I calmed down. But it's his opinion on whether it's a credit or not. I really subscribe to it, and it's not just echo chamber shit, but he's like the spirit of a roller coaster. yes, it has a complete circuit. I'll give it to you guys. Like that and gravity being predominant are like the two things that should matter the most. But the Spirit, like, it doesn't feel like a fucking roller coaster. It feels like a drop tower where you fucking fall on your ass. And speaking of falling on your ass, the way that I ended up riding this in my third, fourth, and fifth rides, half of these times with my eyes shut, what you do is they have like this steel vertical platform diagonal thing right in the front of the car. Have your feet propped up on it and glued to it to where you're basically like in an ass down position, to where when it drops you at the top, it feels like you're a launched cannonball into a swimming pool. Like you have like rockets on you as you're doing a cannonball from a diving board 100 feet in the air. That's what the sensation feels like. It feels like you're doing it while you're in prison, and it's fucking amazing. And for just Demon Drop, I mean, Steel Force is great, and the B&Ms were pretty happy. Demon Drop was like the most memorable part of the park, and probably the reason I'll come back to this bitch. I hope that he still have it. Anyway, y'all have a nice day. I had a nice day here. Nice days are awesome.